All right, welcome back. This is going to be part 20 of Dinosaurs and Man. And we are continuing on with the topic of Leviathan. And probably, depending on how this video goes, I may have some concluding remarks about Leviathan on my next video. And so I just want to give the whole topic some good time and justice. And so that way, whenever people talk about this stuff, you can have a good range of knowledge about what the scriptures have said. We defined a bunch of words, and then some of the things in the animal kingdom that is quite extraordinary, guys. And so that, when we think of a fire-breathing dragon, we think of fantasy. We think of the, mythical animals, something that you'd see on a television fantasy movie. And that's sadly what's happened. Even when it comes to things of the Bible, most people, I'm gonna say all of your secular views of it, it's just made up stories. It's a good book. Jesus was a good teacher, but that's all he was. He was nothing any better than any guru that anybody would go to. And some of your Eastern gurus and stuff. And so they just don't think anything of it. He was just some guy that lived, and that's about it. And I've heard news programs, whenever they would report on something that have to do with the Bible, I've even heard some of them said, even the guy even existed at all. And this one here, it was Abraham. They were talking about Abraham. And at the very end, the newscaster said, if he even existed at all. And so just that little stab on the end. And so, but what we're going to do here is I'm going to try to look at two life forms on this planet that are quite amazing. And we're going to go through them, and just depends on how the video goes. I may wait and do my concluding remarks on the next video. And so what you see right here is called an electric eel. And so let's go through some information about the electric eel. It's not an actual eel, believe it or not, but it's there's three different types, three different kinds or species. And you got the electric eel, the Vary's eel, electric eel, Volta's electric eel. Now, these are elongated South American knife fishes. So they're just species of South American knife fishes. They can reach up to lengths of 9 feet. 9 feet, that's pretty big, and weigh about basically 49 to 50 pounds. And they can live, get this, 22 years. 22 years. So that's pretty amazing. The electric eel's positive pole located near the head, and the negative pole is located near the tail. Each shock is delivered in 1 millisecond intervals, forcing involuntary muscle contractions that fatigue the prey's muscles. Shocks can stun or kill a target even from 20 feet away in the water. Electric eels are able to release shocks from 600 to 860 volts. 600 to 860 volts that can knock over a horse or kill a man. A lot of people, when they were talking about this, were saying it's like getting hit by a stun gun, is what it's like. While fully submerged in the water, the strength of the shock is weakened. They will sometimes leap from the water or extend their head out to place the chin on the animal that may be partially submerged for a more intensive shock. They just putting the eel's chin right on the flesh of an animal. That way they get more of it's a direct hit. The Vary's electric eel will hunt in packs, coordinating movements, timing, and electrical strength of discharges to ambush or corral schools of fish. Electric eels will sometimes curl their bodies around large prey to double the strength of the electric field. And so this is amazing, guys. This is an animal that can create electricity. Now, let's look a little bit more on the eel. Now, I added some stuff in here. All the stuff with black with the red around it, that's what I've added from other sources of the material, just to kind of put it all in one thing so you guys can get an idea. Now, the main organs that produce electricity, guys, if you look at the bottom, the top one is just the eel. Then you got the cutaway version underneath it. Look at the hunters. The hunter, now that EO is it means electric organs is what that means. So the hunter's electric organ and the main electric organ, those are where the production and the storage of electricity is put at. That's where the eel makes the electricity and stores it for the strong shocks that it gives. Now, that one on the back, Sachs, SACH''S, that area is where the eel would store low voltage electric. It has a low voltage of electric field, and it's for electrolocation. Basically what that means is, see, the eel doesn't have really good eyesight. So what they do is they emit a low voltage, a low electric field around them, and they can sense prey and objects around them by this low electric field. And then what they do is when they find something they want to eat, then they send out those pulses of the strong electric charge. And what it does is it stuns them. It stuns the prey, and they can literally control the prey by the pulses that they send out. Because each pull, it stuns them. It stuns them, and it makes their body weaken because of those pulses of involuntary surges in your muscle. It would be like if you take, like, I have I think they call it a TENS unit or whatever. It's a little, if any of you people that have been to chiropractors, they'll use it on your lower back or certain parts of your body. I actually have one. We bought ours from somebody that actually worked for a chiropractor, and they feel amazing. But I'm going to tell you right now, you can sometimes put it on, I've sometimes put it on my arm, especially when I was dealing with tennis elbow or tendonitis. Sometimes I put on there. If I put up too much of a charge, my hand will jerk in. It depends on the muscle. But it will make the hand actually contract. And so it's actually amazing. So that's the type of flavor that we're getting at. So if you're familiar with that, that's what I'm saying. And it's involuntary. I can't control it once that electricity hits it. But at any rate, the vital organs of the eel are near the head, and this would protect those organs from the electric charges. Now, the organs are surrounded by a fatty tissue, which they believe it acts as an insulator to the from the electric charges. Now, let's go ahead and let's look at another creature. Now, this one is called the Bombardier beetle. The Bombardier beetle. Now, guys, what I'm going to do, if you'll notice on the screen, I want you to check out this little guy's way that he wards off predators. Check him out, guys. Look at what he's doing. Notice how he's doing it. And you see that smoke that's coming out from underneath him, that's coming out from behind him? Guys, it's quite amazing what this beetle is capable of. We're going to talk about that. Now, the biologists have known about the beetle since the early 1800s. The chemicals involved are hydrogen peroxide. Chemists are unsure how the beetle produces this, and hydroquinone, which are produced in the secretory lobe and stored in the reservoir. For these chemicals to react, a catalyst, which presently is a mystery on how they are produced and stored, are needed. The catalyst, it needs a catalyst. The catalase breaks down hydrogen peroxide into water, free oxygen, and heat. The catalyst peroxidase releases hydrogen. The hydrogen then combines to initiate a steam explosion with free oxygen. The flow and direction of chemicals must be controlled by a valve system in 2 stages. When the Beetle is ready to fire, the inlet valve first opens, allowing the reactants to enter the chamber. Once full and the chemicals react in the chamber pressure pinches the inlet valve shut. During this time, the growing heat and pressure forces the outlet valve open. Once the ejection is complete, the pressure drops and the valve closes. The Beetle can aim its turret, that's that little item that you're seeing where it's coming out of, in any direction, guys, any direction, sending repeated jets of steam through nozzles up to 368 to 735 explosions at speeds of 65 feet per second. Get that. By the Beetle firing several bursts in rapid succession, this keeps the reaction chamber from overheating. The inner chamber can withstand boiling temperatures from the reaction 221 degrees. That's hot, guys. The boiling point of water is 212 degrees. Scientists still presently, this is at the time of this video, they don't know how the turret works, how that little item is that that the Beetle does, can point that thing. Now, okay, let me show you something else here. This right here is a Parasaurolophus. Now what I want to show you here is this crest right here. See that crest right there? Well, it is actually hollow on the inside. There's areas in it that's hollow, and they don't really know what the animal used it for. And so if you'll notice on the screen, it says here, these are some of the theories: that it could have been used as a weapon, a foliage deflector, a cranial air tank, a snorkel, and the crest being very similar to a woodwind instrument called a crumhorn. It could have used the crest as a resonating chamber for vocal communication over distances through low frequency sounds. And so if you notice that drawing there, that is what the passages look like, that are hollow. But at any rate, personally, I'm just going to give you my opinion on it, because they really don't know. They don't know what it used it for. My personal opinion is that it used it for the resonating chamber for vocal communication. I think they're onto something there. It seems to make more sense, though I could be wrong. And this baby right here possibly could have blown fire out its mouth. And so I don't know. I'm siding towards the resonating chamber on that. It seems to make more sense in that area. And so, because this right here does not live in the water like Leviathan. Leviathan, from the description in Scripture, through several different books other than just the book of Job, it talks about Leviathan being in the water. And so I'm going to say that Leviathan is more of an aquatic animal. But guys, let's stop right there. I'm going to have some ending remarks about Leviathan, and then we're going to move on over to Behemoth. And so, but I've hoped that this right here has been very enlightening, educational, especially with the animals that I've shown. But I just want to say that an animal producing fire from its body isn't necessarily far-fetched. And so, especially when we talked about the eel and Bombardier beetle alone, I mean, that's just amazing. That's just a small step from what it's doing to blowing fire out its rear end. So, but guys, we will see you on the next video. You guys chew on this stuff, and I hope you've been learning something. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.